So now we're doing a comparison with a normal fire extinguisher. This is one we take directly off the fire truck that was in service. It's just a water extinguisher. This is what we'd use if we went to any small fire as soon as we got there. Just try and knock down a small fire such as this while the hoses and everything else are getting set up. The spray on this extinguisher isn't exactly the same as ours. It does not have an aspirating head. It's just a regular normal jet on this, so it does look slightly different. One of the key things is using this as the extinguishers. I had to use pretty much the whole 9 liters, so it's exactly the same size as the ZENOVA FX extinguisher, and I used the whole lot. The surface temperature of the chair remained warm, so we actually left it and it carried on smoking for a little bit of time. And after about 7 minutes, it did reignite, and we let it build up to the same size fire as it was before. So if someone in the office building had actually extinguished the fire with the extinguisher to hand, they would extinguish it, left it, would not have called the fire brigade, and this kind of scenario happens quite often. They think they've extinguished it, and yet once they leave the building, it reignites. Could be minutes, could be hours later. This is the ZENOVA FX Class A fire demo. All we've done is set fire to a regular armchair. We've simulated just a cigarette being dropped down the side of the sofa, or maybe it could be a cell phone. The battery's overheated and set fire to the armchair. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see our burn clock. We have actually sped this film up until we start to extinguish the fire. And also in the middle of the screen, you'll see the colored screen. That's our thermal imaging camera. That will give us an accurate temperature of the actual fire as it grows. And be very careful to watch when we actually suppress the fire with the ZENOVA FX and see how quickly the fire is cooled. In this demonstration, we're using a regular 9-liter fire extinguisher with our ZENOVA fluid, pressurized to about 12 bar. You may notice that we have a slightly different head on the end of the extinguisher, which is an aspirating head, which allows air to be drawn in to help with the efficiency of the delivery of the fluid. So as you can see on the thermal imaging camera, the fire is fully ablaze now, it's fully engulfed. In a normal house, this would be now catching the curtains, spreading up the walls and spreading to the rest of the furniture. And if also note on the thermal imaging camera that the temperature gets to about 1200 degrees Fahrenheit before we step in with the ZENOVA FX extinguisher. Once we attack the fire with the extinguisher, we knock the fire down very, very quickly. We just double check to make sure all the flames are out, and we fully suppress the fire and make sure the fluid has hit all the fire all over the armchair. keep an eye on the extinguisher clock. We're now up to about a minute since we extinguished the fire. So I'm just going in here with a temperature gauge just to see what the temperature of the material is. And I hardly got any reading actually. So I actually took my glove off and grabbed the material, and it was stone cold to the touch. Absolutely stone cold. One of my colleagues was watching at the fire hall and didn't believe me. So he had to come over and check as well.